It started as just another night until those 10 seconds changed everything. What you're about to see is 100% real, no edits, no tricks. This is the scariest moment of my life. And it was all caught on camera. I woke up to a noise, something moving in the hallway. At first, I thought it was just my cat, Mr. Boots. He does that sometimes in the middle of the night, padding around the house because he's a weirdo. But something was off this time, like something big was out there. And that's when I checked my security cam feed. And that's when I saw it. For 10 seconds, it didn't move. Then it started crawling toward my room. Fast. So let me set the scene here. It's 3 a.m. That's when my eyes finally popped open. I could hear footsteps outside my bedroom. I turned to my phone to check my security cams. But they're not hooked up to Wi-Fi, so I had to go to each one individually. Mr. Boots was curled up on my bed with his favorite toy mouse. He looks innocent enough, doesn't he? But those green eyes can turn cold and soulless when he wants that mouse. I walked into the hallway to investigate. That's when I spotted it. There's nothing there now, but I assure you, this spot in the hallway has no natural light source. The closet door was slightly ajar, which I never leave it like that. I checked inside, but it was empty. Maybe it was just my imagination. But later that morning, I went back to check the security footage from my hallway cam. That's where I saw it. This clip starts at exactly 3:03 a.m. Here's the thing. I always keep my security system armed, so it records pretty much everything. But if you look closely at the timestamp, it looks like it's missing a few seconds. But if you listen carefully, you can hear it. My door creaks open. Someone or something enters the hallway. Then, silence. I get goosebumps every time I watch this, because the next part just gets worse. I see the same tall, dark figure twice in these clips. Both times, it's walking on two legs, but the second time, it raises its arms above its head and bends down on all fours. Check how fast it moves. It walks normally at first. I think whoever, or whatever this is, they're trying to stay silent. I mean, why else would they be? And yes, I realize there's a possibility that it's not human. Whatever it is, it's definitely not my wife or anyone I know. It's weird how we only catch glimpses of it in the footage. I think it knew the cameras were on. That's why it tries to hide. But the fact that it even tried makes me wonder what it looked like. The scariest part of this is that the first time it appears, it stops in front of the camera. If you look closely, it looks like it's staring right at the lens. It stands perfectly still for about 10 seconds. Then, it disappears. I don't know how it did it, but it vanished. Then it starts crawling toward my room. Fast, it slithers through the hallway on all fours, almost like some kind of spider-like animal. And please note how the ground shakes with each step it takes. Again, it's trying to be quiet, but whatever it is, it's heavy. And that's when it stopped. It stopped right outside my bedroom door. You see that pause in the footage? Well, so did I. But it wasn't in the security footage. It was on my actual door cam, and the door was closed. Now, bear in mind, my bedroom door is solid wood. It's almost like this thing broke reality itself to get past that door. But you might be wondering, isn't that a bit far-fetched? Well, this story gets crazier. Right after I recorded this, I decided to check my other cameras to see if this thing showed up anywhere else. It turns out, it did. This is the camera overlooking my entire property. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. Why doesn't he have motion detection set up on this camera? Well, I do, but it needs to be connected to Wi-Fi, and it wasn't at the time. But you can see something interesting here. Look closely at the top left corner. There's our little friend. But wait, how did it get there? It's outside my house. Remember, the only way in or out is through the front door. If you remember, I have a large Doberman named Diesel. He would never let anything get past him. In fact, I never even see him when he goes outside to do his business. So you can imagine my surprise when I see this. But it gets crazier. I have a trail camera mounted to a tree on the other side of my property. I usually use it to catch deer or foxes that come into my yard. But you won't believe what it caught that night. What you're about to see is actually insane. You see, I live deep in the woods in a remote part of Michigan. I love it here. I mean, look at this view. I built my own cabin from scratch about 5 years ago, and I've been living here alone ever since. No one comes out here unless I invite them. But that night, something managed to get onto my property. Something very big. I kid you not. This thing weighs more than I do. I got a notification on my phone because the camera detected movement, and I clicked on it. And that's when I saw it. Here it is again. The same creature that somehow got past my Doberman. It was also able to scale a 6-foot wooden fence without even looking like it was trying. As soon as it saw the camera, though, it ran away. Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe it was a bear, right? But we don't have bears in Michigan. Besides, this thing was too big for a bear. I didn't sleep for days after that. I kept checking the security footage over and over. It was like something out of a horror movie. And the worst part, the camera kept recording. But the footage from those 10 seconds, it corrupted. Almost like something didn't want me to see it. When I tell people about this, they usually laugh and say, "Oh, you're just making it up," but I swear it's true. I still don't know what it was. Sometimes, late at night, I hear scratching at my door, and I know it's still watching. I never showed this video to my wife. She'd freak out. So this is the first time I'm sharing this with the world. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, please hit the like button. Thank you for watching. Later that week, I went back to check the hallway cam. I wanted to see if I missed anything the first time. That's when I noticed it. It's hard to make out because the quality is low, but if you look closely at the wall above the closet door, you can see a pair of yellow eyes staring back at you. They weren't there before. And I kid you not, these are the exact same eyes that appear in both of these clips. Even the distance between them and the height is the same. They're high up on the wall, like almost head level to whoever is standing there. But that's not the creepy part. Here's the hallway again. If you look closely, you can see another set of eyes. These ones are a bit lower, but they're definitely there. And again, they're the same yellow color. If you count carefully, this is the third set of eyes along this one wall. And I'm telling you, the camera was recording this weeks ago. Those eyes weren't there before. But you might be thinking, well, maybe there's a cat in your closet. Yeah, that makes sense. Except that's not the case. Mr. Boots sleeps in my closet every night. But he's not an outdoor cat. There's no way he could have gotten into the attic and made his way into the walls. And I can tell you right now, there's no cat in there. This is where things get really weird. You see, I have a Ring doorbell cam, and it's hooked up to Wi-Fi. But the craziest part is that it doesn't record unless there's motion. Yet, I have these clips. These are literally burned into the footage. It's like they're supposed to be seen. Look carefully. There's a fourth set of eyes. These ones look angry. I never told my wife about these eyes either. She would never let me take the door off the hinges to check. But you're probably wondering why I haven't called the police. Well, I did. I told them about the scratches on my door and the footprints in the mud. But they just laughed and said, "Sounds like you have some raccoons?" Well, I disagree. I know what I saw, and it keeps me up at night wondering what else it could be. Remember, it's not just the physical sign. It's the feelings, too. Like that feeling you get when you walk into a certain place and instantly regret it, or the sudden urge to run, even though there's no logical reason to do so. It's okay to dismiss these feelings during the day when you're surrounded by people, but try being alone in a dark room in the middle of the night. When all you hear is wind howling outside, that's when you wish you never ignored the signs. Some people call me crazy for believing in this stuff. They say there's no proof, and they're right. I'll never be able to show you what I experienced. But that doesn't mean it didn't happen. If you feel something dark watching you, even when you're not alone, then you know what I'm talking about. It's the feeling of being utterly helpless. The knowledge that some things are beyond our understanding. We like to think we're in control, that we can rationalize everything. But sometimes the universe throws us a curveball, a moment that shatters our perception of reality. In those moments, we're reminded of our insignificance, a small speck in a vast cosmos where the rules of logic don't apply. So what do you do when faced with such a terrifying experience? How do you cope with the fear that something malevolent is lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce? Perhaps the best approach is to confront it head-on, to embrace the darkness and try to understand it. After all, as Carl Jung wisely said, the most terrifying thing is not the monster in the closet, but the one in the mirror.